أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه والسلام الحمد لله رب العالمين. Inshallah, today we will try to wrap up the subject. So, just conclusions. We are just collecting the conclusive ideas now. Can you just read this one so that I can show it to you? Slowly, so inshallah, we will follow the meaning here.
The conditions we suppose to be life are the only minute in which we are. All the time previous to the present minute and the things of the world within that time are dead in the present minute. And all the time subsequent to the present minute and all it contains are non-existent in it. That means the physical life on which we rely is not even a minute, but rather a passing instant.
So, you can overview here. What's your impression? What is the text saying?
I found myself, honestly,
Oh, you can say that.
I was lost in that.
You were what?
Yeah.
Would you like to read
Even if I was trying to read it slowly and deliberately,
Yeah,
it's like it's
okay.
Big words.
So, what this is saying simply, the moment which passes, previous to the all the time previous to the present minute, previous to the present minute.
So my previous moment is
Yesterday, for example. Let's make it simple to understand.
okay. Previous to the present minute, is that a definition of the past?
Yeah. Okay. Now, the things of the world within that time.
Present?
No, that time is previous
Also.
to the minute. Is they are all
Dead.
dead.
Dead. It's in
Dead.
the past. Doesn't,
For the moment, yesterday is dead. Very simple. Right? How about tomorrow?
tomorrow has not happened yet.
Yeah. But all the things, all what tomorrow contains are non-existent in the present time. So where do you live?
In the present, now.
But now, how large is it?
Instant.
In an instant.
It's a passing instant.
Passing instant.
It's just a passing instant. Actually, we are experiencing just a passing instant. The rest is in our memory, in our expectations. So, we have to be very careful in what's going on in this world. And what are we really clinging our life to? Just a passing instant. Okay. Right?
This is from our point of view.
Yeah, of course, as far as we are concerned. You are right, correct. So, you are not happy with this reading slowly? Okay.
Since it is thus.
Yeah, we understood that we are really living in a passing instant. Mm-hmm.
we should give up the physical life of ego. We should rise to the level of life of the heart, spirit, and inner faculties. We should see what a broad sphere of life they have. For them, the past and the future are living. They are existent and full of life. But for the physical life, they are dead.
So, so there, please feel. Go this way, if you don't mind.
That way?
Yeah. So we have even one chair here available. So for these
Yeah, this
latecomers,
is perfect.
for
No, he's saying
latecomers.
for latecomers.
I should do-
When there's later people than you are.
They may.
It was my fault. I mean,
You started the trend, so.
Okay. Okay, someone comes. So, what is the life of if you can see at all? Can you? So we don't have the projector today, I'm sorry. If the life of the heart and spirit and human senses, inner faculties, not our physical attachment, because we really do not have a substantial physical attachment to the world. Actually, we live on our emotional attachments to the world, not really physical attachment, because it is so fragile, it's so passing fast.
What do you mean? There is no physical attachment?
Because that's all imagination. Yesterday's imagination. Yeah, but for the moment, it's just, you do it and it's past. Yesterday, where you touched the table yesterday, what happened? Where is it? Finished. But your emotional attachment, your heart, your inner senses are connected to it. So your work, yeah, the table, the existence of the table is meaningful for you, really, really in a wide sphere of life, only for your heart, for your spirit, for your emotional inner side, not the physical side. So we should, the text says, we should rise to the level of life of the heart, spirit, and inner faculties. We should see what a broad sphere of life they have, broad sphere of life. For example, we can emotionally be interested in or engaged with. 1 year later, 20 years later, we make projects and program plans for our future. But physically, we must admit that we have no connection to it realistically. Really, no. So physically, my existence now, my physical existence, you go there, it's good. If somebody else comes. Yeah.
What? You sure?
We should give up the physical life of ego. We should give up physical life of ego. What does it mean? Ego is the human side which wants to appropriate the physical world to itself. This is mine. But if we really think about it deeply, we know that it is not really true. Why? Because even the ego cannot own it. cannot appropriate the physical world to itself because it's just continuously, instantly passing. It means if we think that we are going, we would like to hold on to the physical world, it means we are just cheating ourselves. Yeah, I think we should have closed the gate. Yeah. Is there any lights there? Or if there is an extra chair, you can put the extra chair somewhere. Okay.
You have a chair.
There is a chair here. You can come here if you like. Yeah. Yeah. Next time, maybe we can have we can arrange the tables in another way. So, so do we have to concentrate? It's a bit difficult to concentrate. Now,
We're talking about the ego.
okay, ego wants to appropriate the word, the physical word to itself. That's what the function of ego is. Otherwise, ego cannot appropriate the imaginary word to itself.
So basically, when we don't want a moment to pass by, it's our ego, for example.
Ego wants to own it,
Own it.
but in reality, wants to own it. But in reality, it cannot. It cannot.
Yeah.
In reality, it cannot. So we have to use our human faculties and decide, what aspect of my relationship with the universe I should be more careful. Physical attachment or attaching myself to the world through my heart, through my spirit, through my human qualities, inner faculties.
I'm thinking someone would have like the ego thing. Something. It's only when someone thinks about that they have an ego to own that moment. Like, otherwise, people just claim that they own the things. Even the moment passes, they still are in that delusion state that they are the owners of that.
What we have to now, at this now, in Christmas night, we have to sit and think about the reality of our attachment to the world. Is it really worth it? Our attachment to the world, really, physically, is it really worth it? Or attaching myself to the world physically has no reality. It doesn't mean that physical world doesn't exist, right? But my connection with it is just temporary. Yeah.
I get the impression that anything physical is very limited,
Extremely.
extremely limited. So in this paragraph that we have been reading from, the beginning and the end of it, we should give up the physical life of ego, and the last sentence, but for the physical life, they are dead.
For the physical life, they are there,
Yeah.
as far as my physical relationship is concerned, in the past and
So
the future.
limited and so finite.
Hmm.
Whereas, if we rise to the level of the heart, spirit, and the inner faculties, then that transcends
Mhm,
time, space,
mhm.
physical boundaries. That is
Hmm.
therefore limitless.
Mhm.
So based on what is here, then I get the sense of that, the opposites. Now, my question to you is, having read this paragraph, Is there any useful connection at all between what is physical and to what is of the heart and spirit? Do they need each other, or can they be separate?
Now, heart and the spirit takes the meaning of the physical world. Ego wants to own the physical world itself. I think these two paragraphs that we just read today, after you read, are trying to teach us that, look, take the meaning from the existent world and attach your human qualities to the meaning of the creation. Don't really lose yourselves with the matter itself, with the physical world itself, because it is meaningless. It even, realistically speaking, I hold on to it, but my relationship with the physical world is nothing more than an passing instant. So we have to think about the meaning. Whatever we are in touch with, whatever in this world, we may be having something, we may be experiencing some, they call it a quote-unquote natural view of scenery, beautiful scene. So just get the meaning, and you can live with the meaning almost forever in your own world, in your spiritual, in your world, in your heart, in your spirit. We should see what a broad sphere of life, heart, spirit, and inner faculties have. For them, the past and the future are living. They are existent and full of life. But for the physical life, they are dead. Past and future are dead.
That sentence we just said, for them, the heart, spirit, and inner faculties, the past and the future are living, existent, and full of life. And we said that that includes our expectations
As well.
right? So when we say are living, existent, and full of life, I think that that's a very hopeful message that's easy to understand and kind of make that separation from the physical to this one. But my question is, when we say living, existent, and full of life, though we don't know the specifics or the details of it, it's kind of hard to hold something in that way, I guess, because we have a natural need to know, and then our expectations are so huge that I wanna grasp this more, because I think that's the missing piece for them. The past and the future are living, existent, and full of life. But then, since we don't know them and our expectations are huge, I think that what happens is we fear not knowing, so then we just go back to what we see and are deluded by what we see.
Can we get the meaning from the past experience? And can we refer it to the future as well? For example, last spring, what we experienced, you can expect for the next spring that you will experience again the same. So it is not only imaginary, but as far as the nature of our relationship with the universe is concerned, we should understand what is real, really. How, what is our condition in the universe? How are we put in a position in connection with the universe? Where are we? What is our reality? My memory of the past is with me, but physically, past cannot be retrieved. Impossible. My hope for the future, maybe if, as a result of my previous experience of the existence, I may expect that next spring it will be like this, the summer will be, and I will have this job, and because somebody had the same job and you work for 30 days and at the end of the month you will be receiving your payroll, etc. So your spiritual world is connected with a very wide sphere of existence. Whereas our physical connection with the world is very, very just a passing instant. Why do we so much bother about the things themselves in a physical form rather than getting meaning from them? Let's read one more paragraph.
Can I just comment on memory? Memory is actually, first of all, it's inaccurate. It cannot be accurate 100%.
Okay.
But the second important thing that I thought is that memory is retrieved. The way memory gets retrieved back, it sort of rebuilds itself. The way it's stored in the brain. So it's sort of, it has its own life.
Yeah.
So I guess that sort of connects with this.
Yeah. So it is alive as far as our humanity is concerned. It is alive, but not in not a temporary base now. It is with me. Let's read this paragraph and work on it more. Would you like to? If you prefer, yeah.
The present world is like a speech. As soon as you hear a word, you cannot keep it. It is gone. The following word has not been uttered yet, but the meaning you deduce from the word you heard remains within your mind, heart, and spirit. Keep the meaning you inferred from it. Do not try to get hold of the word itself. You cannot.
Let's establish our relationship with the rest of the universe. Did you get it? Who will make a comment? Anybody? Give an example. You receive a message from your somebody, friend, father, parents, boss, whatever, and the message is written on a paper or on the phone or text. You get it. What you do, you read it, you get the meaning, and you start not living with the message itself, at a piece of paper, or your screen, or your iPhone, whatever, or your telephone. You hear it, gone. But has it gone completely into non-existence? No. What of my human qualities as far as my acknowledgement of my Lord, Creator is concerned? It means that everything is in this world just to make me feel sure that my Lord is always with me and always communicating with me. So I was studying something as far as the methodology of understanding the Quran is concerned. Are the miraculous expressions of the Quran is. The scholars are so great. When we supplicate in the language of the Quran, this is a very fine point and something to do with eloquence of the Quran, balagha of the Quran, but you're something to do with our subject, and practically we can use it. Let me, before this, I remember just now, I remembered an hadith. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and his companions were climbing up a hill. Yeah, hill or somewhere high, maybe mountain, whatever. And some people were loudly shouting, God is the great, God is the great, as they were climbing up the high hill, right? And the Prophet said, why are you shouting? Do you think that God is far away or deaf, that he wouldn't hear you? He was next to you, he is next to you, he is the creator, he is your creator. You don't need to shout. So in the Quranic eloquence, Quran doesn't teach us to address God as, oh God. It means Ya Allah. There's no such expression in the Quran. That's what I learned today. Well, I was studying the Ijaz al-Quran, the eloquence of the Quran. Why? That's a great point. Why? Because the scholars are aware that if you say, oh, for example, if someone is far away from me, but Jin is here, for example, said, hi, Jin, how are you? If Jin was there, we said, oh, Jin, hey. Yeah. So, there is no such expression in the Quran which teaches the reader to use this expression, oh, God, as if he is far away from you. It's against the understanding that we learn from the Quran that God is the nearest to you. It means your creator, your maker. You don't have to shout. You don't have to use this Ya. Yeah, in Arabic, Ya. You are most of you are familiar with it. Even some people translate this word, they analyze it, of course. This is a detail, small grammatic detail, but beautiful. Allahumma, they say, oh my Lord, oh my God. They say you cannot say oh. Allahumma doesn't mean oh. Ya Allah. Ya Omar, for example. It's all right, because Omar is far. Or Ya John, it's all right. Oh John, it's all right. But not, oh God. No, it's not all right. It's not in the teachings of the Quran. The delicacy of it, the fine point there, God is near to you. Yeah.
I also feel that his name, but he's also, it erases formality. Because if you're not addressing him as Ya Allah, then, and you say, it means you're really close to him, there's no barrier, and there's no need to be formal with him, because he's the one that knows you best.
Yeah. So don't shout. That is simple. So don't shout. Don't think that when you are praying, for example, silently or normal, as you are whispering within yourself. Keeps that. The Quran keeps teaching that God knows not only what you whisper, but deep down your heart, whatever you have deep down in your heart, God is the creator of that feeling. So you can be always with God. Now, this is the final thing, but there are some problems. I will come there as far as some understanding of some certain verses. The problems means there are some the verses of the Quran to question, right? So to question it means what do you understand from these verses? Because these verses seem to be not saying really what we have been talking about as far as about the divine determining. So we will deal with them. So we understand so far that, look, really we have to check our worldview first and then understand what divine determining is. Divine determining is the order of this existing universe and my free will is there. So my connection with the existing universe is just to extract the meaning and get to know the author. So simple. So there are some verses we may find it problematic. So shall I turn to Arabic? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now let's read this verse and see.
قل لا يصيبنا إلا ما كتب الله لنا هو مولانا وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون.
You asked this question. Do you remember? كتب ما كتب الله لنا. So the meaning.
Say nothing will happen to us except what God has decreed for us. He is our protector, and on God let the believers put their trust.
Yeah. Now, what I said, the problematic, because apparent meaning seemed to be, here it is, nothing will happen to us except what God has decreed for us. So people keep thinking about this. The universe has been established by God, and everything is coming into existence according to the will and choice of God. Okay, that is the decree of God. What has decreed? Kataba means really fixed, right? So, and I have to, God says, so on God, let the believers put their trust. What are we going to do here now? Yeah? Let God do whatever he wants. Anyway, he's doing it. So what is the point in my free will? So this is the question. I wanted to talk about it, but those people who have been following, this is the 24th or something section we are having. So you say, oh, it's very easy.
The second part of the conclusion.
Second part of the conclusion. Yeah. So hopefully we will come to the end today. Hopefully. So do we have any problem when you read this verse in the Quran? You will say, oh, we had in class all other things, but this says just opposite of what we learned in the class. Do we see that? So how do you answer this verse? Anybody?
I would say it's talking about the knowledge of God. It's not really telling about my free will. It says everything is in the absolute knowledge, and I'm still free to exercise my free will.
Now, the knowledge says is okay, knowledge is absolute, but especially we have to put the everything is set. What is the word set? What God has decreed. Everything is decreed by God. Includes what?
All options.
Sorry?
The choices you make.
My choice also is included. In which sense? What am I going to choose? Or? Yeah, that's a very fine point. Not what am I going to choose?
Your decision to make that choice is also included in all the options.
So God's decree includes my.
Maybe it's about our choices within the order that He already has.
Yeah.
Created for us.
Yeah, it summarizes it. Thank you. All right. So the God's decree includes the stars, galaxies, and let's come to the atomic level, particles, and how they are going to act. And there will be a human being. He creates, he knows, and he also has given the free choice to a human being. That is also included in God's decree, right? That is also included in God's decree. And what else is included in God's decree is He set me free to choose.
And the results that are going to manifest because of what you choose.
So
So if I choose,
it is his decision, it is his decree, it is his decree that, it is his decree, again, I'm emphasizing, I will choose, he will create within his order. It is his decree. So when I choose, when I decide about something, when I exercise my free will, what will happen? That is God's decree. When I freely choose it, I'll put this one here. No, I don't want it. I don't feel it. All right? That is also within God's decree that I will freely choose it. Why? Because He has created me with the free will to choose whatever I want. That is also decreed. So that this kind of words, verses, the sentences of the Quran, if we don't pay attention to it, we think that our free will has nothing at all. Whatever I do, at the end of the day, Allah's decree will prevail. So my mother. But we have to understand this.
Is the outcome part of the decree?
Sorry?
The outcome is what's going to happen part of the. So I can choose to move this here or here.
Yeah.
And I have the free will, and that's part of the decree. But is the outcome, what am I going to do in the end, part of the decree?
What do you mean? Outcome is the part of the decree. What do you mean? Now I choose, look, here it is. The universe is here, and I am also a part of the universe. I am also created within the order of the universe. For example, the birds are given the ability to fly and given the ability to choose here and there, this direction, that direction, given the instinctive ability to go which direction, as for example, days get shorter and shorter, the birds are given the ability to realize that it's going to be cold here. Let's migrate towards the east or south. Sorry, not east, south. So they're given this ability. This is also a decree of the Creator, and my free will is also within the decree of the Creator. But I am given the power to choose, not to create. So that is also within the decree. It means within the order of this universe, right? The result means what I choose, He creates. What I choose, He creates within the order. For example, if I want my glasses not to be here, but I want to move them, but if I don't use my hands and lift them up and move them here, I want this, my free will wants this, but to go there doesn't go. My free will is given to me to be operated within the order of this universe, and I have been given the ability, consciousness to understand that I have to follow the order. So when I follow the order as a result of my free will, here it is, and it moved. What happened? That is the created result. Everything happens within the order established by the Creator. That is Katab Allahu lana, means whatever God decreed for us, it happens.
This is great. I understand the first part where there's a set order in the universe. I choose and He creates. So I can choose to, for example, smash my cell phone and He'll create.
You can do
and
that.
So what's problematic to me right now is He is our protector, and yet He's letting us know that even though if you do end up if you do end up doing something which is not a good act, He is our protector, meaning that He's going to, I don't understand, what does that mean?
No, He is our protector. It means, in Arabic, those who are familiar with the language Arabic, Huwa Maulana. Maulana means wali. Wali means, the child, as a minor, needs somebody to represent, to protect. How do you call it in?
Guardian.
Guardian. So he is the one who is taking care of everything. I cannot protect myself. Can you protect yourself? Your existence? Can you protect your
I gotta
existence?
take precautions though.
So you can take what? Can you really, that is your choice. Can you result? Can you create the result? You are free, you are holding free will, or you are given free will. You are not given the power to create. So this universe has been really established by him, and he is taking care of us. Be aware of it. He is my guardian. But who's your guardian? For example, there are some hands. Okay, that's good. That's why I have chosen these verses actually. So who is my guardian in this world?
Well,
who can protect you?
The one who has created me, from what we're learning.
So, the one who created the whole universe, only this one can protect you. Would you like to say something? Or then come.
Yeah, so just to follow on the sister's point, so if we're saying I choose and he creates within the order of his universe, and the responsibility of the consequences of that choice is mine because I made that choice, right?
Yeah, it's obvious, yeah.
So, okay, so how do we, and if our choice is within his decree, so in the example of, say, I'm supposed to take a train to go to Washington and I'm late to the train station because my laundry was not finished. And actually the train I was supposed to take crashed and I got the next train. So did Allah intervene and made my laundry late, therefore I missed my train? This was his decree in my life, or was it a choice that I made?
Everything in the universe tells us that nothing arbitrarily happening in this world once. That's what our observation of the universe tells me. Is there anything arbitrarily? You know, I come here, there were, I don't know how many tables, here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tables there. And one day I came here, 2 tables disappeared, or 7 tables became 8, suddenly with no order, anything within order, doesn't happen. Yeah. The scripture also says you will never find any change in the way that God has ordered this universe to be, which is called the way of creation. So we know that. You missed it, you didn't miss it. These are all within the order, whatever it is. But what we have to pay attention to, I am responsible for my free will, and God is the one who creates everything. For example, I was late for the train. I missed the train, and this train crashed. You are still a lazy guy. Because you were lazy. You didn't. You need to take my time management course. But you cannot say that, look, you know, it was very good. The next time also I will miss another train. And then you will get the following train, and the following train crashes. You will say, oh, God changed his mind. It doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't work. So we shouldn't really act on accidents. Now, what we have to do, okay, this is what happened. That was within the order of the universe. My responsibility is to be punctual. But because I am responsible for my free will. Now, not for the result. The result is God. So the order of the universe tells me which kind of precautions I should take. This is how God is taking care of us, teaching everything to us. So, wanted to say something? No.
Actually, I have a comment, but it's not exactly on this. It's something was previously discussed. So I might take my time and ask at the very end.
Okay, if you like, but this person is here. Okay.
Okay, so there are 2 words that I have a problem with in this verse. First is the future tense being used. Right? I know that tenses are, it's not a simple thing to look at, because like you said last time, God can change the tense depending on what the message is. But it does say, "Len yusibana," that's the future, right? And if you want to translate it, will happen, that's the future. And then it also, I don't know about the translation, but yusibana shows some sort of indication of targeting.
Okay.
Right? So those two words, future, like Akram was saying, like, is it just like am I just talking about okay, I have the free will if I want to do this or that, but what this verse is saying is it's actually saying that God will target, or what God wills will target you, something to that essence, and that's not what I understand from yours.
No. Well, لن يصيبنا not necessarily mean that in the future. Why do you say that?
Then is always used for the future.
Not necessarily, because nothing will happen to us. It means in my word, nothing happens to us. It means in now, because it will happen to me. It means, what does it mean?
So
everything,
so
okay.
So the verse could have been قُلْ لَا يُصِيبُنَا.
That doesn't matter, does it?
So it could have been nothing.
But
nothing happens to us.
Yeah, but when you say that it is in the future, but everything is in the future from one perspective. Well, nothing is in the past, anyways. So God is telling you nothing will happen to us. Means I will take my free will, and He will create. That's what I learned from the teaching.
It's more continuous.
Sorry?
It is a more continuous sense.
Yeah. So it will, but it doesn't mean that whatever I choose, the end result will be within the order of, within God's hand only. No, it doesn't mean that. So the tenses in the Quran, depending on the context, but we have to take it as far as we are concerned, always now what I am learning. Now what I am learning. Now I don't see the problem here. So we choose, He creates. That's what we are learning.
Well, you asked if there is a problem, if we have any problems with the verse.
Yeah. But that's what we have to understand. Even if nothing will happen to us, the translation, okay, but it doesn't mean that not now, but tomorrow. No, what is happening to you now? As Sister said, it is a continuous thing. So everything will happen to you according to what God has already decreed. It means that everything is taking place in the world according to the order He has established in the world.
And then, okay, so the second word.
Yusibana. Yeah.
I think it might just mean that it's not arbitrarily happening. It's
with
not
purpose,
just happening out
with purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's
Yusibana, yeah.
meant for you, and it will happen for you.
The result, whatever isaba, whatever it comes, ends has a destination in you or in the thing. It means whatever happens at the end, it is nothing but what has got decreed. Yes, for example, our being here in this world is as my Creator decreed. Yeah, my having two hands is as my Creator decreed. But my having free will is as God decreed. But my being able to choose freely is as God decreed. It's not whatever happens to me. It means I should have a worldview. Which will be
maybe looking at the previous verse helps a little bit, because the previous verse it gives context. So it says, "En tusibka hasanatun tusukhum." When you see مصيبة يقولوا قد أخذنا أمرنا من قبل ويتولوا وهم فرحون. So it says, if something bad or something good happens to you, right? They're unhappy. I guess the unbelievers.
Yeah.
Right. And then it says, and if something bad were to happen to you, then they're happy. And then this verse comes.
So it means this arbitrary interpretation or being happy, being unhappy is not realistic. What they have to do is they have to realize, they have to accept that this universe is under the control of its creator. So they should just try to take the lesson from it. Why is saying that when the prophet or the believers or somebody is happy, they get unhappy because, oh, he's lucky. No, nothing happens in this world on just luck. Everything is under control. I think we should have no.
And it's also like if you're not unlucky, you'll never know what luck is. So if you don't have a bad result, you don't know what good result is. Nietzsche, the German scholar, also said that without sorrow, there is no joy.
So we don't know what is good for me, what is bad for me. Ultimately, what I am responsible for is very easy. I have to take care of my own free will. Whatever I think is good for me, I have to choose it and know that I cannot create the result. He will create it. But just establish it Make sure for yourself. Make sure for yourself that I will choose it, he will create it.
I have a slightly different take on that, and maybe you might. So I think what it means is they jump to saying this is good, this is something happens good for you, so that they get angry, they're not happy about it, whatever. It's basically, I think, also following the following verse establishes that they're missing the point. Because the point is whether good happens to you or bad happens to you, it's good for you because you are a believer. You know that nothing will happen to you unless what's decreed, which is the meaning, then you've got the meaning. They're just
so you acknowledge
whatever something good or bad happens to you, they shouldn't be happy or unhappy because it doesn't matter.
You acknowledge the creator, you acknowledge the source of existence.
So if the prophet has done that, then it doesn't matter what.
Yeah,
there's no good and bad. That's
at the end, the prophet also died. Prophets die. Everybody dies. Everything dies. So you say, I'm lucky, I'm unlucky. Meaningless. These interpretations are meaningless. So we get another verse. Okay.
وقالوا الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله.
Okay. Now let's see. Look, we will be careful with the content of the verse now. Yeah.
And they will say, all praise is due to God, who has guided us unto this. For we would certainly not have found the right path unless God had guided us.
So, it is these kind of expressions in the Quran. I don't know whether can you see? Yeah, these kind of expressions in the Quran are very frequently used. Those people who read the Quran, they will say, God says, I can save whomever I like, and I can guide whomever I like. I can send to misguidance whomever I like. Oh, as if we have nothing. So even some people say, because I was created with a Muslim family or as a believer's family. So because God knew that I was going to be a believer. So God's knowledge has nothing to do with you. What have you done? So here, these kind of verses teach us that we have to be very careful. We just ask, He creates. We ask, He creates. We cannot isolate our act of creation as far as our field of free will is concerned from our free choice. We cannot isolate ourselves. So we have to be very careful not to interpret these kind of verses saying that, okay, it is God, whoever does it. No. Whatever I do, it doesn't make any sense. Maybe I'm getting there. Whatever I do doesn't matter. Whatever I do doesn't matter. But God, if I am decreed that to be guided, I will be guided. If I am not decreed that to be guided, I won't be guided. I will be misguided. The word is not like this. We understand that, look, God always speaks from His perspective. Even when you want, there are other verses explaining this, that but God doesn't misguide those who are righteous, for example. God only misguides those who are wicked, or how do you say misguided? No, not misguided. Who are fasiq. Richard. Heedless. Okay. So it means the creation is in the hand of God. He decides to create. But when it comes to our field of free will, He set us free. We always forget this. I should ask, He will create. I should ask, He will create. I take it as this one as a simple example for this. Very simple example. I sow the seed. Do I create the plant or the tree? Can I? No. God says, if I want, I will create the tree. If I don't want, I won't create the tree. All right? But I know that, okay, God creates everything. Go to the farmers and ask them not to put seeds, because if God wants, He will create it. They will say, no. I mean, the right view is, I look at the creation, I get the message that the owner of this order of the creation tells me that if you want me to create for you a tree, put the seed there. I learned this. He's teaching me. And now God speaks now. I can create anything I want. But as far as the human free will is concerned, I will sow the seed, then He will create. That's what I'm learning. Even the plant grows out of the seed I sow, I won't be proud of it. I would say, the one who created it. And I learned the order, how to ask Him to create the tree for me. It's very simple. So we have to understand, we have to understand this kind of, all praise is due to God. Yes, in the act of creation, all the good qualities belongs to, the tree is growing. For what? For what reason the tree is growing? The Creator is creating it. Otherwise, tree cannot grow itself. It doesn't know. It is a matter, that unconscious matter. So it is the one who, God is the one who put this universe into this order. So all praise is due to God, who has guided us unto this. It means if I have the tree, I will say, okay, all praise is due to God who created the tree for me. Yeah. And for we would certainly not have found the right path unless God had guided us. If if we were not given the ability to understand how God creates, if God didn't put this order, that within this order the tree grows, plants grow, yes, I get my crops, yeah, I get my crops, harvest my crops. These are all within the order of the creation. The order of the creation belongs to its creator. That's what وَمَا كُنَّا لِنَهْتَدِيَ لَوْلَا أَنْ هَدَانَا اللَّهُ. If God had not, the creator had not put this universe into this order, we wouldn't be able to do anything. We cannot create anything. We are just using the order. So simple. Questions? Okay, good. Yeah. So, another one? Once more? What time is it?
8:34.
8:34.
34.
34. Okay, it's very end. We are very close to the end, actually. Yeah. The last one. Last verse. Okay?
أو تقول لو أن الله هداني لكنت من المتقين.
Oh.
Or lest a person say, if
Yeah, lest the person say.
Yeah, if God had but guided me, I should have been among those who were conscious of Him.
So if God had guided me, I should have been among those who are conscious of Him. So since God didn't guide me, so I don't care about God. Can you say that? The Quran says the person should not say this. It means I should ask Him, create. Look at my responsibility. Again, this separation between free will and divine determining is extremely important. There is a live, constant relationship between free will and divine determining. Divine determining never, because there is no change in the way that the God creates, never if you like, disables me from choosing and then makes me responsible for it. Yeah, we use the disable the program. So disable the program, and then the computer doesn't show it. So can we say that this, the computer is not showing it? You disabled it. So if God disables me to exercise my free will, am I responsible? Those people who are familiar with the Islamic culture, if someone cannot really use his mind properly, it means something is, problem. The psychological problems, the mental problems, etc. If someone doesn't use his free will properly, is he responsible? No. For example, if you forget something, are you responsible? For example, for any reason, you forget that you were supposed to do something, let's say pray, and cast. What happens?
You are responsible.
Sorry?
You are responsible.
You are?
Yeah.
No.
You forgot. It's part
So,
of your human
not on
value.
purpose, you didn't take precautions, you are responsible for not taking precautions. But when you forget, you are not, forget. For example, the best example is, you are fasting. While you are fasting,
I love it with that.
you forget and you start eating. What happens? No. So, the Prophet particularly warned the people that don't remind him. God is, don't remind him. So if someone, fasts, that he's fasting or she's fasting, and she said, oh, I'm very thirsty, and went to the vending machine, got a bottle of water, and started reminding.
My brother always reminded me.
He's jealous.
Yeah. So,
We're not supposed
no,
to.
because the
After
point in fasting is to obey, to acknowledge the owner of the water. So, if you are drinking water, so why am I not drinking while I am fasting? To acknowledge in my practical life that, look, this water does not belong to me. I cannot drink anytime I want. With the owner's permission, I can drink. So once in 1 month in a year, this needs a physical training, if you like. Physical training. How? Okay. To acknowledge it physically now, from sun, if you like, dawn, twilight, until the dusk, sunset, I'm not going to drink, because he said, okay, don't drink it, in order to demonstrate that physically that you acknowledge it. That's what the fasting is. So if you don't fast, and during that time, which is called Ramadan, it's a period. So during that time, you deliberately drink it. What are you saying? Deliberately. You are not fasting. You say, I don't care whether you own water or not. I'm not going to acknowledge it. I will treat the water as my property. And God says, you are doing something wrong, because it's not your property. You are free not to fast, not to acknowledge. I set you free, you really that you say, I am happy without believing in God, the Creator. I can take my life as if accidental thing here happened. I try to enjoy myself. If a friend wants to advise me, he can only say, go and be honest within yourself. Nothing more. No one can give me the absolute truth, a kind of, how do you say, stuff, but mysterious stuff, so that you will touch and it will say, oh, it's correct. How do you say it?
Magic wand.
Magical rod.
Wand.
Sorry?
Magic wand.
Magic wand?
Yeah.
I don't know the word. How do you say it?
W-A-N-D. Wand.
Wand. Magic wand. W-A-N-D. Wand. Okay. Magic wand. So that have this one, and you will know. Yeah. When you touch it, it will show green. Ah, that's good. No.